Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, may I begin by thanking the chair of the committee and the seconder of the motion, as well as those that have managed to debate on this very, very important topic. Madam Speaker, this report is 450 pages. I don't know how many of us can have the time in 3 days to read every detail of this report. It's quite big, and I'm sure our comments will be limited to a few specific issues. And I want to begin, Madam Speaker, to propose that next time we have this report coming before this August House, we are given ample time, Madam Speaker, to digest as many aspects of the report so that our debates are more comprehensive. Madam Speaker, nonetheless, I want to limit myself to one particular issue. As I was going through this report, Madam Speaker, I noticed that the word youth empowerment has been used a total of on about 22 pages. If you go to the report, 22 times, Madam Speaker, the word youth empowerment has been used. The word women empowerment, Madam Speaker, in this document, which is page 450, the word women empowerment has been used 23 times. Madam Speaker, I realized as I was going through this report that actually we have 6 or 7 ministries of government that are giving out youth empowerment funds. We have so many different ministries, Madam Speaker, that are giving out women empowerment funds. Now, Madam Speaker, what issue am I trying to raise this afternoon? Currently, Madam Speaker, we have a serious problem of measuring whether these funds are impacting positively on our people. And I'll explain why, Madam Speaker. Today, you can go to Kamfinsa constituency and apply for youth empowerment funds. The committee will give you the youth empowerment funds. After 2 days, Madam Speaker, you can go to Chilabombe constituency and apply for youth empowerment funds. Madam Speaker, there is no system that will be able to tell that person A has gotten empowerment funds in Shiwangandu, in Kamfinsa constituency, in Solwezi Central. And we can't measure the impact of these funds, Madam Speaker, because we don't even know the people we are giving these empowerment funds. So the first issue I want to propose, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Kamfinsa, you may proceed.
Madam Speaker, allow me to proceed with my discourse, and your guidance is well noted. Madam Speaker, I want to raise a very important issue, which I believe is very critical for this conversation. Madam Speaker, currently in Zambia, and this is a fact, there is no system that confirms whether one person, Madam Speaker, has accessed funding on one government program. And the point I wanted to raise, Madam Speaker, is the issue of developing an integrated data management system. A system, Madam Speaker, that will allow an applicant to be screened immediately they lodge in their application for empowerment funds. If today a young person in Nkana constituency decided to apply for youth empowerment funds, whether it's under the Ministry of Agriculture or under the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Child Development, Madam Speaker, there is no system currently in Zambia that will confirm that this applicant has already applied for funding in another district. And this point, Madam Speaker, is very fundamental in addressing the issue that has been raised in the audit findings. The audit report is saying, Madam Speaker, that we are not recovering enough funds after we disperse the funds. And for me, having understood one of the challenges in confirming who has accessed funding before, Madam Speaker, I'm raising a very important issue. And I know that the Minister of Finance, under whose custody, Madam Speaker, public funds are dispersed, will appreciate the point that I want to raise. The point I want to raise, Madam Speaker, is as follows. Today, if you go to the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, they are giving out empowerment funds right now, Madam Speaker, and they've been given names: booster loans, CEC empowerment funds. Madam Speaker, that is one government ministry giving out funding. If today you go to the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Child Development, Madam Speaker, they are also giving out empowerment funds. Is it possible today, Madam Speaker, to confirm that someone who has applied for funding under the Ministry of SME has already been given empowerment funds in another ministry. Madam Speaker, currently in Zambia, there is no system that has been provided. And this is why, Madam Speaker, my proposal, believing that we cannot continue empowering the same people, Madam Speaker. If we are going to distribute our little resources, Sinazongwe should get its share of funding. The people that benefit in Sinazongwe, Madam Speaker, should not go to Chirundu, because we want to distribute our little resources as a country. How do we prevent the same people, Madam Speaker, from getting empowerment funds under one ministry, from getting empowerment funds under another ministry? Madam Speaker, we need to develop an integrated data management system. A system, Madam Speaker, that will be able to provide details. Just by inserting a name, Christopher Kang'ombe, Madam Speaker, government should be able to know that this person is from Livingstone constituency and they've already benefited. That way, Madam Speaker, we are going to provide opportunities to as many people as possible. I appreciate that funding over the years will be scaled up. And I know this funding will require that more people benefit. But, Madam Speaker, why should we empower the same people? Why is it that one government ministry today will tell you the interest rate on this loan is 3%? Madam Speaker, you go to another ministry, they'll tell you, for you to acquire a loan from our ministry, you have to pay back at 6%. Why can't we have a consistent policy on the interest rates for government loans? Why can't we provide uniform guidelines, Madam Speaker, so that when young people go to one constituency, when one group of people go to one government ministry, Madam Speaker, they will be able to acquire loans under the same conditions. I know the minister who's acting in finance is aware that under commerce today, we've got programs that were undertaken 10, 15 years ago. Have we measured the impact of those loans that were given 10, 15 years ago? Madam Speaker, we have no system in place. And this is why the people of Kamfinsa, Madam Speaker, want to submit that this 450-page document, as big as it is, Madam Speaker, Kamfinsa has one particular concern. Can we develop an integrated data management system that will ensure that beneficiaries in one constituency do not go to another constituency? I thank you, Madam Speaker.